In 2008, a loaf of bread in Zimbabwe cost $1.6 trillion. Not because the bread was special, because the money was worthless. Zimbabwe used to be called the breadbasket of Africa. It grew enough food to feed half the continent. Then the government seized the country's commercial farms and handed them to political supporters. Most of them had never farmed. Within years, food production collapsed. The country that fed Africa couldn't feed itself. The government needed money for wages, for debt, for a war in Congo. So they printed it. And when that wasn't enough, they printed more and more and more. In February, a loaf of bread cost $200,000. By March, 10 million. By July, 1.6 trillion. Same bread, same bakery, same year. People carried wheelbarrows of cash to buy eggs. Children played with stacks of worthless banknotes in the street. A beer cost more by the time you finished drinking it than when you ordered it. The government's response was to declare inflation illegal. Anyone who raised a price would be arrested. They arrested business owners for charging more for bread that cost more to bake. It didn't work. The central bank printed a $100 trillion banknote. It couldn't pay for a bus ticket. By 2009, Zimbabwe abandoned its own currency entirely. The country that printed the largest banknote in history gave up on its own money.
Number 2, Gregor MacGregor.
In 1822, 250 people sailed across the Atlantic to start a new life in a new country. The country did not exist. One man invented it. His name was Gregor MacGregor. He was a Scottish general. In 1820, an indigenous king on the coast of Honduras granted him 8 million acres of land. MacGregor sailed back to London and told everyone he was the prince of a country called Poyais. There was no country called Poyais. So he built one, on paper. He drew maps of cities that didn't exist. He printed currency for a bank that didn't exist. He wrote a 355-page guidebook under a fake name. He designed a flag and military uniforms for an army that didn't exist. He published bond prices in the London financial newspapers. Investors bought them. He sold land certificates, government bonds, government positions. People paid real money for jobs in a country that was not real. In 1822, 250 settlers boarded ships in London and Edinburgh. They carried Poyaisian money, land deeds, and letters of appointment to offices that did not exist. They sailed for 2 months. They arrived on the coast of Honduras. There was no harbor, no city, no roads, no buildings, just jungle. Within months, over 150 of them were dead. Disease, starvation, exposure. They had sailed 2 months to die in a country that did not exist. MacGregor was arrested in London. He was acquitted. So he went to France and sold more Poyais bonds to French investors. Arrested in Paris. Acquitted. Again. In 1839, he moved to Venezuela. He received a full military pension. He died in 1845. He was never convicted of anything. The man who invented a country died a free man in a real one.